This is Joseph Whipp, Sheriff Burke from the original Scream, and Sergeant Parker from the original A Nightmare on Elm Street. And you're listening to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Review Podcast.
What's your favorite scary movie?
In a world where zombies, ghosts, serial killers, and vampires all exist, welcome to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Review Podcast. Just want to thank everyone who's been listening. We really appreciate it. You know, today we dropped some exciting news. Today is Monday, April 13th. We got 25,000 listens on our Robert Englund interview. We really appreciate everyone who's been supporting and listening to us. And want to thank Robert one more time for coming on our show. That was awesome. Holy grail moment for all of us. And tonight, we're getting back into movie reviews, and I think all of us have kind of forgot how to do it a little bit, so we might be a little rusty at first. Tonight is Brother Mike's pick. We're going to be reviewing Scream 2. And let's go ahead and give our general synopsis. Brian, do you want to go first with just general synopsis?
Sure. So admittedly and unapologetically, Scream 2 is just pure nostalgia for me, honestly. And, that's the majority of why I like it, honestly. It gives me that nostalgic feeling that's hard to explain. And there's maybe only two other movies that I can think of that hit me the same way that this does. So I was a huge Scream 1 fan. I was in middle school when it came out, so I wasn't, old enough to see Scream 2 by myself. So I went with my friend's brother and him, and he got us all in because he was in high school. And so, right off the bat, I have this sense of freedom, because I'm in a movie. I'm way underage for the movie anyway, without parents, etc. And we get in the movie theater, and it was an atmosphere also that I have never experienced before then. I mean, people were dressed up in the Scream masks all over the place, just like in the opening of this movie. And, when they're watching Stab 1, some of the employees would even run down the aisle like in the movies and stuff. It was during the credits and stuff, but I was in awe, honestly. I still remember the feeling that I had. I live in a small town. I mean, this just didn't happen in anything I'd ever been in. It only happened, in the movies that I watched. Like in Stab 1, for instance, it was in the movies. That's the only time I'd ever seen anything like that. So, I had this weird, I had this feeling that I can't really explain every time I watch it, even though it's 20 plus years old, because, you watch a movie so many times that it gets so ingrained in your brain. And that's how Scream 1 is for me. So when Scream 2 came out and, they're in college and it's different, it's this feeling I get every time I watch it. So, I mean, that's where my headspace is, as weird as that sounds. It's like, and, you guys, besides maybe Drew, are too young to even get this, but real ones listening will know. But you've seen Saved by the Bell reruns so many times when you were younger. It's the feeling you get when you watch them and they're in the college years. So I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Dustin, you want to go next?
Sure, because I appreciate him assuming that I'm young. I appreciate that a lot, actually. Now, this movie, I'll be honest with you, this movie takes me back to a very specific time in a very specific house. I remember where I was when I watched this movie. I was at my friend Chris's house. This movie takes me back to watching Scream 1 and 2 and listening to Limp Bizkit. Like, that's what we did the weekend. We were the cool kids in 5th, 6th grade.
Right.
And so fast forward, here we are, 2020. I hadn't watched this film in probably 20 years. And Mike and I and Nico, we rewatched all four of them together and text back and forth while we're watching them. That was the first time I'd seen them in a while. And I'll be honest with you, I had no nostalgia really, because I watched them. It had been so long and I hadn't watched them that many times that it was almost like watching them fresh. Mm-hmm. That being said, I've got some things that I nitpick on the film, but overall, I think it's a very enjoyable film. It's crazy what you said about the movie theater experience that you had, because I didn't go to see it in theater with it. But that's one of my nitpicks, is watching this opening scene. I'm like, that's bullshit, but we'll get to that in a minute. So that's crazy that you said that. But overall, it does take me back to a specific place, but I don't have that nostalgia. So watching it in 2020, I certainly enjoy it.
All right, I'll go next. I have nostalgia for the first Scream movie. I remember the first time watching it. I remember the hype. I remember being a little kid watching it at my mom's house with the neighborhood kids, being scared to death in the first scene. The second movie, I didn't really see any of the Scream sequels until a few years ago when they were all on Netflix. I watched all of them. I think, one a night for like, a weekend or something. But I'd never really retained much of it, so I've been rewatching them a little bit. The second one is kind of it's. I mean, all slashers are just more of the same, honestly, from the last movie most of the time. This is more of the same from the first one, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. This movie is enjoyable. It's entertaining, and I love Randy in this movie. I'll go ahead and just spoil it. That's just my general synopsis. I'm gonna stop right there. Drew, do you want to go next, Drew?
Yeah, it's no hidden fact. Your boy is not a big fan of Scream at all, like the whole franchise at all. But mostly from the horror standpoint. But I understand the slasher. But as far as the overall movie itself, had great music. There was great acting from time to time of other characters besides Sid. I thought Sid, I thought Sid was great in Scream 2. I think she's great in all of them. I also like Brian. I have a nostalgia pull from it too because when it came out, this was like my favorite time of the year. There was a lot of great movies that came out during this time, so it pulls me back to that time period too. I'll leave the rest of it for the review.
All right.
Go ahead, Mike. This is your pick. Go ahead and tell us why you picked it, brother.
Okay, I picked this movie one because I enjoy meta horror. I've not hid that fact. It's the same reason I enjoy Jason Lives and New Nightmare and the original Scream a ton. Scream 2 I picked because I felt like we did Scream so long ago now, or it feels like it's been forever anyway. And I just kind of wanted to revisit the franchise some, and I think Scream 3 is not that great. And Scream 4, I kind of want to hold off on. I do want to dive into that movie at some point. But Scream 2, unlike some of you, I don't have the nostalgia for, obviously. But I remember watching Scream 1 and immediately watching Scream 2 after. And I liked it. It's a movie that picks up a year later. It's kind of like you said, Brian, even though I didn't grow up as Saved by the Bell, the college years was happening, I remember that transition watching reruns on, and so I remember that. Same with Boy Meets World, where you're watching them at John Adams High, and then the next thing you know, they're in college, and it's kind of the same thing for me. And I love Sydney in this movie. I think she's a more mature character, which I really enjoy. I like the side characters for the most part. I have a nitpick. I'll save it. But I like the side characters. I love Randy. I think he's the star of the show, which is why this movie breaks my heart forever and ever. Don't you, David Arquette, me.
I know who the star of this franchise is, pal.
Yeah.
It's Deputy Dewey.
No, it's not. It's Nev Campbell. And by the way, Nev Campbell can call me sometime. However, on Deputy Dewey, I do think Dewey in this movie is much better than he is in Scream 1, to me. I enjoy his character a lot more. I enjoy the character arc a lot more. And I really like this movie for a long time. I have a weird relationship with this movie because there was a point where I actually thought this was my favorite Scream. And then over time,
Same.
it's become not my favorite Scream. And then it got bumped down again. Like, just with time, there's little things that I nitpick. I don't think it ages as well as the first Scream, at least to me. And I don't think it does enough new stuff to hold up well over time. But I really enjoy it. It's very entertaining. I could pop it in any time and not have a problem. So yeah, I'm looking forward to breaking it down. And I do have nitpicks like the rest of you, but I don't always let nitpicks like leak into my overall rating. Hopefully, anyway.
Oh yeah, definitely. Y'all ready to jump into it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, I'm just gonna do the opening scene and I'll get y'all's thoughts. All right, the first thing I wrote down is $7.50 for a ticket. Jealous. All right, the film starts with the film starts with Phil and Maureen going to see Stab. She doesn't like scary movies. She's kind of being a pain in the butt about it. Everyone in the theater has on Ghostface mask, and I just wrote with stars beside it. I hate this damn audience because I think we've all bitched about how we hate audiences during a horror movie.
Yes, I'm so glad you said that.
Stab is reenacting Casey's scene from the original first Scream. Maureen leaves to go get popcorn. Phil, as she's coming back, Phil jumps out and scares her. She goes back to the movie, and Phil goes to the bathroom. He hears noises in the stall beside him, and he puts his head up to, like the bathroom stall wall. And he gets stabbed right in the face from Ghostface. Ghostface puts on his jacket and sits right beside Maureen. She gets close to him during a scary moment of the movie, and then she realizes he has blood on her hands from Ghostface's jacket. Ghostface stabs her in the stomach. She stands up and hobbles away. Ghostface stabs Maureen again as she gets to the movie. She's going to the front screen of the movie theater, and she yells out, and she dies in front of everyone. And I didn't say all of their dialogue. No, I'll let y'all jump in all that. My general thoughts on just the very first scene is it's okay, but the first Scream movie, set the bar so damn high on the opening scene. This one didn't live up to its, that height, but it was decent. It wasn't bad. Dustin, do you want to go first, brother?
Sure, I can go first. So starts out, Wes Craven doing what Wes Craven does in this franchise, just phenomenal casting right out of the bat. I mean, we've got Jada Pinkett Smith and Omar Epps, and it's like, it's kind of unfortunate and a letdown what happens to him, but don't worry, there's plenty of other cameos in this movie that are just top-notch actors. So, some nitpicks that I have, like I said earlier, the atmosphere in that theater was just absolutely bananas, and I would be pissed if I went to see that movie. If I went to go see that movie and that was the atmosphere and I couldn't hear the screen. When he goes to the bathroom, number one, how did he know that she was right outside the door when he jump scared her? Come on.
It's a nitpick we all have, brother.
And number two, how did Ghostface know that's exactly where his ear was?
Yeah, we all have that too.
But I'm glad that scene happened because it gave us a great scene in Scary Movie.
Even I, who's not a big fan of that franchise, will admit it's almost better in Scary Movie because it's a fucking dick and it's hilarious.
But another, when she gets back to her seat and everything, or when he gets back to the seat, and just it's a little unbelievable how no one notices. Holy shit, is he really stabbing her? And then he just gets out of this theater. Ghostface gets out of this theater scotch-free. Like that's a little bit like, she's up there screaming her guts out. So it's a nitpick, but overall, it's a tough scene for me to judge because the opening scene in Scream 1 was one of the best opening scenes in the slasher history. I mean, take the movie for what it is, put it aside, what you feel about it. That scene you can't deny is phenomenal. How it sets the tone, and the death of Drew Barrymore in the first one. But so it's not as good as that scene, but overall it's not bad because they put some quality actors in there and it sets the scene. Okay, here we go. Ghostface back.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, so the opening may not be, critical to the plot like in the first one, or even the fourth one, but to me, like it amps up the self-referentiality and the meta just is off the charts with the Stab franchise for the first time being in a movie within a movie, and I mean I absolutely love it. So also Red Right Hand, I mean, I've heard a million times that there's not really a definitive song, like a theme song for Scream, like there's Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. But to me, Red Right Hand is that one, and it plays during this opening scene. So I love that it comes back there. I said the same thing as Dustin did about the names in the opening scene. In addition to what he said, I mean, Heather Graham, you even get Tori Spelling going back, to the first film when Sydney says, "With my luck, Tori Spelling." We'll talk about the movie adaptation that ever gets made, and I know that reveal comes later, but I still think that's really great. And like you, I'll say I'm not a big fan, almost at all, of Omar's kill. I don't like where it's obvious they spit blood out of their mouth either. I hate that in almost every horror movie kill, and obviously where it's obvious that he's holding it. And honestly, I don't think that would have killed him either. He got stabbed in the cheek. I don't think he would have, died as quickly as he did either. So to me, that was, wasn't really believable. But, and I would have liked to have seen it be a little bit more brutal, like maybe walk over there and just stab the shit out of him, cut him up. But, that plays into Wes Craven and the MPAA, because apparently he had so much problems with the first one and the gore and stuff that his plan in this one was to amp up the gore and then have them, the MPAA come back and say, "Oh, it's too gory," and then he gets to use the cut that he really wanted to. But apparently he went with the very non-violent cut anyway, from what I heard. So like that's one of the things I wanted to see, and that you honestly don't even get in this franchise till Scream 4, to be honest. All in all, look, Scream has one of the best opening sequences in a horror movie of all time. You know, we said it. I said it. I said it was elite. Is this better? No. Is it as good as 4? No, not to
No.
me either. But God, to me, it delivers and it sets the tone that they're moving forward from 1, and once again changing the horror rules and taking everything up to a 10 from what it was in the first movie. So,
Drew, go ahead, brother.
So with me, I like, the intro music, the Red Right Hand. I was like, coming into the theater is one of my all-time favorites. It's on like multiple shows I watch. Like, I don't know if y'all watch Peaky Blinders, but it's on
Yep.
that intro too
Yep.
as well. Man, it just gives me chills every time I hear that song.
Yep.
So it's perfectly background music to start this off with. Also, I put down, I was like, if myself or Nico would have went to this theater, we would have been stupid pissed at how everyone was acting in the background.
You damn.
And I also noticed that like she's the girl is just like my wife when watching horror movies with me the whole time. Like, oh, I don't like this. What about this? Bitch, run! No, run! That's her the whole time we watch a movie. Whole time.
Man, no.
Also, I want to put this out there. Are we going to talk about the thing where black actors get killed off first or rarely survive in horror films or nah?
Well,
I think that
was the joke, or
that was the
Yeah.
they
meta.
referenced
Yeah.
that in the whole first.
I
film.
know. I just had to put it out there.
Very true.
It's making fun of the tropes on everything on it. I get it, but I had to put it on there. I could have done without the overly dramatic, long, drawn out death of the girl, the girlfriend, whatever. I'll say it was. Shall I say even comedic?
It was more dramatic, probably.
No, that was pure comedy, bro. Stabbing, she's turning and twisting and stabbing, turning and twisting. That's comedy. That's comedy.
She actually said that when she was cast for this role, she told Wes Craven she wanted to have the most memorable death in slasher history. Like that's what she was going for. She acted her. She wanted to overdo it.
I guess one way or the other, good or bad, she had a memorable death because I was like, oh no, this is not it.
Right.
That's all I got. That's all I got for the opening.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, so I I really like this scene partially because it's so fucking meta that it actually it's almost over the top meta, which I really love, so that's fine. It's a movie within a movie within a movie, like there's a lot going on there, and I love that they decided to call the movie within the movie Stab, because if you remember our first Scream review, stabs to the butt, stabs to the back, stabs to the gut, stabs to the face was every kill in Scream for the most part, not everyone, but pretty damn close. Okay. Mm-hmm. Outside of a TV falling on somebody and that stupid garage door kill, it's pretty much stabs, which I think is hilarious. They decided to call it that. So I like that. I like that they're going to see the movie. Like, there's just a lot that I like there, but I have nitpicks as well. I didn't like the stall kill like you guys. I don't think it makes any sense. It doesn't really tie into the plot. They tie it in a little bit because of the names and all that stuff, but they kind of drop that, and I'm not a big fan of that at all. Like, if you're going to go that route, go that route. But I like the actors here. I like Omar Epps. I think he's good. I think Jada Pinkett Smith is good. When she talks about it's a dumbass white movie with dumbass white girls, that cracks me up because that's kind of the case. But overall, obviously, it's not Scream 1 scene. You can't top that opening scene. There's not many horror movies that do top that opening scene. Right. So to compare it is not necessarily fair. What I like to do is compare it to the rest of the franchise. It's obviously better than Scream 3's opening scene, but it doesn't beat Scream 4's. And so, again, I remember liking this scene a whole lot more when I was younger. And the first time I watched this movie, I watched it back twice in the last 3 weeks, and I don't enjoy it as much as I did then, but I still enjoy it. I enjoy it for what it is. I enjoy it for how meta it is and just how self-aware it is. And he mentioned Jada Pinkett's death. I mean, it's over the top. I think that's on purpose. It's played that way for a reason. And I think because of that, I do get a chuckle out of it. But the Scream franchise makes you laugh. I know we all joke about, is it a horror? It's a comedy. Well, it's a horror comedy. And I think that's totally okay. So, but it's not a comedy horror like Scary Movie. There's a bit There's a big difference. I will give Scary Movie credit for the dick in the ear because it is much better than this Omar Epps kill.
All right. After the opening scene, we get a title card. Then after the title card, it goes back to Sydney. She gets a fake ghost face call, but she has caller ID now. She sees Cotton Weary on TV. Haley tells Sydney, to start lightening up a little bit. They see on TV the news of the 2 murders. She's hound dogged by reporters as she leaves her sorority house. Now we're in class and the students are discussing the deaths and, sequels. Randy and Sydney, I'm gonna let y'all, debate, talk about all of this classroom talk. Randy and Sydney link up to discuss what happened. Randy is jealous. I just wrote Randy is jealous of Derek, Sydney's boyfriend. I think Randy has a crush on Sydney, and who could blame him? Am I right, Mike?
I mean, well, hey, Nev Campbell can call me now, then, forever, like the WWE intro, now, forever, then, now, whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, call me sometime.
Gail Weathers shows up on the scene. She gets questioned by a fan. She starts to question the officer at the press conference because, there's a police officer giving a press conference about the 2 deaths. Some sorority girls invite Sydney and Haley to a get-together, and I wrote they seem sarcastic about it. Sydney runs off when she sees Deputy Dewey. Dewey says if anyone is following in Billy's footsteps, she probably already knows them. Gail approaches Sydney with Cotton Weary. She slaps Gail as they ask some inappropriate questions. Gail runs into Dewey. He tells Gail she deserved to get hit and confronts her about his name in her book. Deputy Dewey's kind of pissed off that Gail wrote, some bad stuff about him. Mike, you want to go first on those 2 scenes, man?
Yeah, man. So some of this is a little filler because Haley ends up being significant, but and I like the actress a lot. I just don't know if her character is entirely necessary, if that makes sense. Like, I'm just not a huge fan of the character per se, but I like the actress, so I'll give it a pass. I like this version of Sydney. I like that Nev kind of switched up her look a little bit, so she's a little bit different, a little bit harder. Watching your family and friends get killed will do that to you, and I like that Randy did the same thing. I think that was good, and Courtney Cox, call me sometime. In every movie but Scream 3. But dang it. Don't do that to me. So
Sorry.
No, but I think I'm a fan of the interaction with Dewey and Gale overall throughout this whole series. Even in Scream 3, yeah, I think it's probably the only decent part of that fucking movie is their interaction. Mm-hmm. So in this movie, I think it's kind of funny she calls him Barney Fife. That line cracked me up because it's kind of true. Sorry, Dewey. But if you don't want to get shit wrote about you that's bad, don't be a bad cop. Like, he sucks ass in the first one. Sorry. But he redeems himself. It's okay. I like Dewey in this movie. I said that already. I think these scenes are just okay. I didn't have a whole lot about them just because they're getting me to where I want to go here in the next couple scenes. So I do like the returning characters from the first one. I like continuity as much as we can get in horror franchises. It's very difficult to do for some fucking reason. And so I do like that we get the remaining characters. This franchise has a little bit of an issue, though, with not killing off anybody important minus one guy, and they killed the wrong guy. Anyway, go ahead.
Drew, you want to go ahead and go next?
Should have killed Doofus or Doofy, whatever his name is.
I swear to God.
Dewey?
Doofy?
Dewey?
No, Doofus
Goofy?
from Scary Movie.
Yeah.
So I put on these little parts right here. I was like, I love me some Sydney.
Yes, sir.
Boy, do I love me some Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, hello. Also, in my subtle voice, hello, Michelle.
Hey.
Ooh-wee. I was like, oh, these mostly for me, I was just like, oh, it's the guy from Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, I thought that, yeah.
Like instant, that's where my brain went. And I know that's like, whatever, but that's exactly where my brain went on this. And that's the bad thing is like some of these movies, like when we go back and rewatch, like you don't have that like context in your head, but then when it pops up when you rewatch it, that's the first thing that rolls into it.
It has one of the most dog shit scenes in this whole franchise, though. So anyway.
I just want to say, I was like, have I ever told y'all I hate this character? Dewey. Absolutely hate him. The most in all the series. Top 5 of all hated all time, to be honest. And then I was like, when I see him, like my blood boils, and I don't know why. Is it from the doofus or whatever from
I
Scary
think
Movie or
so.
whatever it is? It probably could be. That could be my influence in my head. But I was just like, did he really say, "Are you okay?" Then did the bro fist tap on her arm? He was like, eh.
And the cop would say cop. It's fine.
I was like, so lame. Also, I said he's got the fake arm looking like old dude in Happy Gilmore.
Which turns out not to be a fake arm. Like that's, I thought the same thing.
Yeah,
I was just, I could not get it.
I was like,
carries it like Chubbs.
it's Chubbs.
They look like Chubbs, yes.
Damn alligator popped up, bit my hand off.
The vanilla
down to my
version
prime.
of Chubbs. Oh,
Made a real,
that was the only
real
thing I
sturdy.
found as opening. I was just like, okay, hello, Michelle, hello, Sydney, Dewey, you bastard, and what the heck's going on with his arm? I mean, I couldn't focus on anything else. So I didn't really have anything else to add on that.
Go ahead, Brian.
So another shout out right off the bat for the soundtrack, because it opens up with "This Could Be Your Lucky Day in Hell," and I used to own the soundtrack to this CD, and I love that CD. The freaking 90s slashers like CDs, like I Know What You Did Last Summer, The Faculty. These soundtracks
Scream
were
3.
to me. I
Terrible
rock.
movie, great soundtrack.
The car ID also takes me back because I had that exact car ID in my house. So I mean, I know that dates the movie some, again, but it's gonna take those tropes and the calls and throw in a new real world twist. And so I like that part about it too. They're showing that they're aware of it. You can't just say as a fan, oh well, we'd had caller ID. So I mean, they're trying to explain that away. Also, I've got on my notes, why does Jamie Kennedy look exactly like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo? I mean, exactly. And also, okay, so I'll get into some nitpicks. Jerry O'Connell as a boyfriend character, Derek, I mean, he's awful to me. I hate him, cheesy. But once you think, I mean, like, okay, so he's the complete opposite, I guess, of Skeet Ulrich and Billy. So I get what they were trying to write with the dude, but okay, it's the same as with Roseanne's sister, with Laurie Metcalf as Mrs. Loomis. I mean, I get why she's in this. I get why both of them are in this, but I don't care for her character either. And I think it's because of the bad casting. Because you get the same basic character in like Scream 4, but it's cast way better, and you actually like the character to me. So Dewey wandering aimlessly around is kind of perfect for his entire character. Now, I mean, like while I'm on board with I believe everyone here is saying he's awful. I mean, I get that, but to me, like I think that I was going to say he's the best in this one, but honestly, I think he's better in part 4 than he is in any of the rest of them. He's more normal. He does get on my nerves a lot in this one, but I would say maybe he's more bearable in this one. How about that? You could argue, though, what's the point of this entire scene with Dewey and Nev besides to just catch up? I mean, why not have Dewey just come later as maybe like a police advisor to the killings or something? So I mean, that's just me, as I'll do many other times, writing a better movie. So Kevin Williamson, if you're listening to this, give me a call. In a polar opposite, call me sometime way that we usually mean. But let's write Scream 5 together, because I got some ideas. But and the last thing, I think Drew kind of shit on or didn't really care for the Arquette and Cox kind of relationship. But to me, like their real life relationship and romance actually helped them out a whole lot in their chemistry here, because to me there's a lot more than just what's in the script between the two of them, honestly. And that's something that they have that you can't really write in this movie, in my opinion.
But did it come across to you as the way they interacted? Did it come across as like in real life how they act towards each other as it is? I guess there is moments of where like there is a real connection between them two during this movie. But it just seemed like overall, it just seemed like it was there, then it wasn't. It was there, then it wasn't. It wasn't consistent for me.
To me, it really shows anytime the camera is showing Courtney Cox's face when she's looking at Dewey. Like you can see a real look.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
I agree with that.
I agree.
And one more thing I want to add before we go into the next scene. You mentioned the caller ID. This kind of dates the movie. To me, this movie dates itself more than the first Scream does. There's a lot. This movie, and it's not a bad thing. I don't mean this in a bad way, but you know how 80s slashers kind of date themselves sometimes. There's some that are evergreen, and there's some that are like, damn, this is definitely the 80s. Well, this movie is very, 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 very late 90s. Like, there is no doubt when this movie was made, soundtrack, Caller ID, like just the overall feel, aesthetic of the movie dates itself more than the first one does to me. But it's not a bad thing. I love the 90s, so I have no qualms about it. But it was just interesting to watch it back and definitely notice it more. As the more times I watch it, the more I notice it.
And I agree with you because, I mean, you can watch old movies that have like rotary phones or whatever they're called, and it not even like you don't even think twice about it. But when you see technology like a computer that looks like it's fucking, I mean, I don't even know what that looks like. It looks terrible even for the 90s. And then you got car ID that, is kind of around. People won't even know what that is. My son had no idea what that was when he was looking at it. So, I mean, it's stuff like that I agree. Where it's like a rotary or a cordless phone doesn't really date a movie, but like stuff like that to me does. I agree.
It's like the cell phone in The Departed. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dustin.
All right, first of all, I don't know where y'all get off on slandering the highlight of this franchise.
Oh, God.
I'm unapologetically a David Arquette mark. So he was great in Eight-Legged Freaks. He was great in Ready to Rumble. He's great in all 4 Scream franchise films. So anyway, that being said, let's take it from the top. So you get a scene where Sydney's woke up in bed. First of all, that's an expensive ass watch, Sydney. You got a tag Hoya laying right beside your bed. I feel you, girl. Second of all, her roommate Haley, Elise Neal, is the exact same in every single film she's ever played in. If y'all have ever seen Money Talks, she's the same character. If you've ever seen Hustle and Flow, she's the same character. So shout out to her for range.
Oh, she just canceled. She was going to be on our show next week.
So there's also there's a little nod in that scene to Wes Craven. Hanging up on her door, there's a red striped sweater. It's not red and green, it's red and navy, but it looks just like Freddy Krueger's sweater. So I read that was a fun fact. Then I looked at it and I was like, well, it's not red and green, but it's still supposedly a little nod. Go to the classroom scene. Very meta right here. Talking about the rules for sequels, and it's just poking fun at itself and all this. Sequels suck and all this talk. And then going back to what Nico said, you could kind of sense some jealousy from Randy. Absolutely. Because one of his rules was if he could change something, the geek gets the girl, And so then they go outside and Derek kisses Sydney right in front of him. He's like, ugh, get a room. So you could definitely pick up on some jealousy there. The scene where Dewey shows up. Now, like I said, I love Dewey, but it did feel out of place. Because why was he there? If he was there because he heard about the murders, how the hell did he get there from California to Ohio in a day? Like he must have taken the private jet. Maybe I loaned it to him.
You probably did.
The next thing, the captain or the sheriff that's making the press conference, that's actually David Arquette's father and Courtney Cox's father-in-law in real life. So there's a little tidbit. Yep. I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, these scenes do a good job of really rounding out who the essential characters are, letting you know what Sydney's classmates are like and how she interacts with them, what the dynamic is, and it sets the tone. It is some filler, but it's necessary filler to set the stage.
I like the sequel talk a lot, but it's weird how one of the rules or one of Randy's rules of sequel is more gore, more carnage candy. This movie don't have that. They don't even have anywhere close to that. He's right. In every other slasher, Halloween 2, more gore. Mm-hmm. Friday the 13th Part 2, more gore. There's just more. And in this movie, it's almost cleaner than the first one because of the ending of the first one is freaking just bloody and gross and all that. There ain't none of that in this. And so I always thought that was kind of I like you said about the cuts they used. Maybe that was intentional. I don't know, but there definitely wasn't the carnage candy.
I was thinking it was because it was probably written like that. It was written and expected to be the bloodier version. Maybe that's the only thing I can think of.
Right, and this whole freaking classroom scene is basically the set of Dawson's Creek. Anyway, go ahead.
I don't disagree with you, Mike, about the more gore in this movie, but there's a couple of scenes that are pretty damn gory.
Yeah.
Like Sarah Michelle Gellar's death is pretty gory. And the cop who gets, impaled through the head, that's pretty damn gory.
That's a good one. But you think about the last 10, 12 minutes of the first one, nothing comes close to that as far as gore.
Right.
No, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree. But
Right.
those two kills kind of
Oh,
stuck
yeah.
out to me as pretty damn gory. All right, the next scene, Haley and Sydney, they get to the party. Now, after that, it cuts to Cece's house. She's watching TV, but gets a call from Ghostface. She gets freaked out and goes to her other call. She hears a noise upstairs. She tries to call campus police, but the call is staticky. Then she gets jump scared. I guess it's like, another sorority sister or something. Her sorority sister leaves. Now it's Ghostface again. She hangs up and starts to wander through the house. The phone rings and then Ghostface charges at her. He pushes her through a window, upstairs, like through the window onto a balcony. Then he stabs her, and then he throws her off the damn roof, killing her. I was like, shit, all right. Back to the party. The two sorority girls tell the party something's going on at Cece's house. The crowd ventures over there. Gail asks Dewey, it's happening again, isn't it? Sydney goes back in to get her jacket, and Sydney gets a call, and she answers the phone for some reason. It's not even her house, but she answers the phone, and it's Ghostface. And then and as she goes to leave, she's charged by Ghostface. I wrote Dewey awkwardly runs up to her.
No.
And then Derek, he gets cut by Ghostface, and then Ghostface got away. Now we're at the hospital. Derek's getting treated and questioned by the police. You can kind of tell they're kind of starting to suspect Derek. Everybody, I think even Sydney's starting to question if it was Derek. Gail and Deputy Dewey, they're trying to tie the names to the victims to Sydney. Two cops are following Sydney now. She tells him to stay safe by staying away. Dewey tells her he's there to help Sydney, not write a book. Gail is being questioned again. Now we're at lunch now. Mickey thinks it's Randy this time. And then Derek starts to sing to Sydney for the whole lunchroom to hear. He gives her his Greek letters necklace, and she kisses him, and then I wrote, and I'm jealous this time.
Yeah, that's true.
Nev's hot.
Yeah.
Drew, you want to go first on that?
Oh, God.
Yes, I do, Mike. I do.
No, I'm with you
No,
here. I'm with you here.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I will say this. First thing I said after CC, I was like, thank God it wasn't just a window kill. I hate window kills.
I do too.
Two to the back of CC, then tossed her like a rag doll out the window.
Appreciate it.
That's a kill I can get behind. Also, I want to notice, did y'all notice the celebrated keg stand in the background during the party?
No.
Please go back and look, because it was the most, it was so bad. It was so bad. And it was one of the first things I saw. I was just like, dude was like slow-mo the whole way through. And I'm just like, this dude's doing a cake stand. Anyways, that was one of the things I said. I was like, let's see. So there was some great cinematic shots in this movie. There was some really, really good ones. And this one after the scene where like she fell down and they rotated it around. But there's also some bad ones too. But I'm going to give credit where it's due. I was like, also, Ghostface is probably the most clumsy slasher / killer ever. I swear. It doesn't matter who plays him.
Right.
Yeah, I
It's,
said the same thing.
it's just the most clumsy. He's like tripping over furniture, but somehow or another he still manages to get him right in the back of the spine. So that's it. That's all I got right here.
Brian, you go ahead and go next, brother.
So let me paint you a picture of my bedroom in middle school. So I had Scream 1, Scream 2 posters on the wall. I had a Joe Montana poster, and then I had three posters from Spencer's. Okay, I had Allie Larder, I had Jessica Biel, and I had Sarah Michelle Gellar. So I love Sarah Michelle Gellar here. And, basically you get a whole nother opening with that scene with CC here, more in line kind of with the Drew Barrymore one from the first one. But, you can't tell me shit about this because Sarah Michelle Gellar's in it and she can do no wrong. So it's perfect scene for me, so we can move on. But honestly though, like Gellar really does have good range. And I've always thought that they should have ditched maybe the mom angle and kind of went with maybe Billy's sister's angle. And, she could have, I think, played a good psycho, kind of Billy's sister and kind of stuck around for a little while longer. But I said the same thing about Drew. It's a big nitpick I have about the first three movies, but it doesn't happen in the fourth one because you have you have many people who are Ghostface throughout the franchise, but yet they wipe the knife like Billy and Stu did the first one, which bothered me to no end. And obviously the clumsily fall over shit the same way. I mean, you think in all these movies you get one badass, one time that was just a methodical killer,
slasher.
but yeah, but that that's the same nitpick I've had. That party that they had, I loved it because it kind of gave me American Pie vibes. Honestly,
Yep. I said
Goddamn,
the same thing.
it makes me love the movie even more. And I'll say the same thing. Sydney answering the phone in Sorority House is ridiculous, but when she says almost after O'Connell asks if she's ready and she walks to the phone in almost like a daze, it reminded me so much of Heather Langenkamp in Nightmare 1, like just the look on her face and the way that she just kind of, I don't know, I thought that was really cool, just that acting part of it. And I get what the Scream or what Script's trying to do there with trying to mimic one with Billy and raise doubt with the boyfriend, which is okay, but the way Nev Campbell just like stares at him when he's cut, like you can read exactly what she's feeling there, and I think she makes the scene work with her
Oh
acting.
yeah, her facial expressions throughout the whole movie make a lot of the scenes.
And I will bitch and complain all day because I hate the Derek singing scene so much. It's cringeworthy. It bothers me even more that Walmart Skeet Ulrich, Timothy Oliphant's character, by the way, that's a remark on Mickey, not Timothy Oliphant, who I actually think is a great actor. But it bothers me that he compared it to Top Gun for one thing, where it's not even close. And You've Lost That Love and Feelings, the song they sing. So yeah, fuck that. It really, I hate that in everything about that entire scene.
Go ahead, Dustin.
So that cafeteria sing is greater than the whole movie Top Gun. Sorry.
What's wrong with you?
Did you really?
I don't even like Top Gun that much.
Did you really?
This is a horror film review. We're not here to talk Top Gun. Sorry, I apologize.
Sorry, Dustin, you're breaking up.
So yeah, I mean, I can't say much more than what you guys said, other than at that party at the frat house, Easter egg, Matthew Lillard is one of the extras.
Yep. Yeah.
And
great.
So, yeah, that's pretty.
Deep, man.
I enjoy that. But yeah, when we were texting while we were watching this movie a couple weeks ago, I think we all said it like, God, why? Ghostface is the most clumsiest bastard of all time. Doesn't matter what do we end up getting, like 6 or 8 Ghostfaces in the 4 movies, or 7?
There's 7.
7, and they're all clumsy as fuck. So, but at the same time though, I can actually appreciate that a little bit more. Same thing about Dewey. It almost gives it a more believable aspect. Like, so often the killer is this superhuman or super athlete that just has no flaws. I can kind of appreciate the fact that Ghostface is a bumbling idiot and clumsy, but because he still gets the job done, he's just clumsy. Mm-hmm. And so, I can respect that a little bit, I guess, from a devil's advocate standpoint. But yeah, they did a great job of planting the seeds. Okay, Derek shows up and he's trying to help. He's trying to get in. Okay, he's not Ghostface. But then Dewey does a good job of like, suspicious. And so that's top-notch police work right there.
Dewey. Okay. So I love the CC kill. I think it's almost exactly what Drew said, which is it's not just over the balcony kill or out the window kill, which I really do hate in a horror movie slasher franchise. And I think I like that stab, then throw her out. Like, I appreciate that. It's very reminiscent, like you said, of the opening scene of the original Scream. So I enjoyed that. Sarah Michelle Gellar, I agree with you. I know this is kind of the trope within the trope of the Scream franchise, which is to kill off your big actresses. Like, they killed off Jada Pinkett Smith, they've killed off Drew Barrymore, and now they're going to kill off Sarah Michelle Gellar, who was a big name at the time, specifically. I mean, she was on fucking everything. I mean, they killed Buffy really early in this movie, so it is kind of like a double open. But I like it. I like that exists within the Scream world. I like the party scene for the exact same reason Brian said. It made me feel like I'm watching American Pie for just a minute, and that's one of my favorite franchises, so enjoyed the fuck out of that. Sean William Scott, that would have been a really good cameo if they could have got that. But anyway, it's all right. Hadn't been invented yet, so it doesn't work. But anyway,
that's right.
Yeah. So, okay. Here we are. We're at the singing on the table scene, and I got to tell you guys, man, this is the biggest dog shit scene in the entire franchise to me. And I mean that. And I mean that over Scream 3 scenes, and there's some bad scenes in that movie. Okay.
Probably
This
right.
scene sucks a bag of dicks.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay. I like good campy horror, like Sleepaway Camp 2, one of my favorite fucking slashers of all time because it's so cheesy and over the top. I love it. Okay, this isn't that. This is cringy. It sucks. He can't sing. What the fuck? And I get what they're going for there, but I'm actually on the opposite end of everyone ever. I think I would have made the boyfriend the killer again for the reason that no one sees that. You're immediately checking the boyfriend off. Well, it can't be the boyfriend again. Well, what if it was the boyfriend again? Okay,
Yeah, they're not.
now
They're not going to do it twice in a row.
I would have liked that because that's a good red herring. That is, we're gonna make them look like it and be like, man, they're not gonna do that crap again. And then when they do it again, now it would have pissed a lot of people off at that time. But in hindsight, I would have loved it. But that's just a personal taste. It's fine that they didn't do it. That scene sucks. The song sucks. So that's that's neither here nor there. But I want to point something out to set something up. This is the last time we see Mickey until the end.
Yeah, good point.
Yep.
So I want y'all to remember that when we get to the end. Okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's very, very, very important when we get to the reveal. Okay. Wait, this movie was in 97. Spoiler alert. Mickey's a fucking killer, and this is the last time we see him. There's 45 minutes left in this movie.
Yep.
What are we doing? And it just okay. But there is some stuff I like. You guys mentioned Neve Campbell's acting. She's great in these couple of scenes here, man. Her facial expressions, it did make me think for a minute the first time I ever saw it. Man, they're going to do the boyfriend again. Wow. That's kind of why I liked it, because she sold it so well. Not Dewey. Dewey, get the fuck out of here. Anyway. But,
Come on.
nah, I just like giving Dustin shit. I like Dewey better in this movie. But yeah,
Dustin
Eric
stands for
singing
Dewey
scene.
because he looks just like him.
oh, Dustin is much more handsome than David Arquette, pal. Anyway.
David Arquette is a former WCW world champion, so
You don't think I know that, pal? Anyway.
and David Arquette has Courtney Cox. So if I look like someone that could get Courtney Cox,
That's very true.
I didn't say it was a bad thing.
Hey, brother,
I didn't say it was a bad thing.
he had Courtney Cox. Okay. Anyway, let's
all right. I got one more thing that I missed in my notes. So it's two things actually. So yeah, we were talking about Neve Campbell's acting. I don't think it's a far cry to say that she may be the best crying scene actress of all time.
She's great.
The way that she can cry and convey the terror and just raw emotion she's feeling is, I can't think of anyone who can do it on that level as many times as she does it in this franchise. And then the other thing that I want to say is that for as beautiful as she is, I'm so glad that women grew out of the pencil thin eyebrow phase of the late 90s, early 2000s, because Sarah Michelle Gellar, that was the one flaw, was those eyebrows were terrible. But anyway.
Hey,
Don't you dare say a word about Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I put Sydney as my favorite final girl for a reason. She carries this franchise, man. She is great here. I mean, Scream 3 is a tough watch, but in this movie, she's great.
Yeah, I've got some notes on that at the very end, but I agree. I don't think this franchise I don't think it can survive without Neve Campbell in it.
Now, Nico's about to get into a couple scenes that to me are a waste of time, but we'll talk about them anyway. I mean, this movie is 2 hours. We could have cut 20 minutes out of it. Just saying.
Hey, stay out of my nitpicks at the end of the movie.
Okay. We all have the same nitpicks. I wonder why.
Randy and Dewey are watching a stab preview on TV. He discusses the rules of a horror sequel. Randy thinks it's Mickey, but he also says he's a suspect, and Dewey too. Dewey says Gail's no killer. Gail's cameraman ain't feeling the job. Sydney is telling her instructor she doesn't think she can do this play with everything going on. He convinces her she can do it. They go into rehearsal. It's like this big dramatic play, and like there's a lot of like stuff surrounding her, but she sees someone in a ghost face mask, and she starts to freak out. They stop the rehearsal, and she runs out. Derek shows up. She says she needs to be alone right now. He leaves. And like Dustin was saying, she does such a great job of showing the emotion. I got to really give her props for that. She does, I think, Brian said in the past, it's hard to be convincing when you're crying and showing emotion. So you got to give Sydney a lot of credit for that. She's great. Gail, Randy, and Dewey, they're all talking and discussing potential targets. Gail's phone rings and it's Ghostface. Randy says he can see us. Gail and Dewey go look for him, and Randy is on the phone with him. Ghostface jumps out of a van and pulls Randy inside of it. He stabs him to death. They find his dead body covered in blood in the van. Sydney's in the library. She gets a bunch of "you're gonna die" instant messages. And I think that's one of those things Brian was talking about that kind of dates a movie, those kind of instant messages.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cotton Weary pops around the corner and asks to talk. He says they have an hour interview with Diane Sawyer, $10,000 each. She tells him people knew the truth from the movie and the book. Cotton says Cotton wants some fame. The cops arrest Cotton. The officer is interrogating him at the station. She's sad about Randy. Cotton leaves Sydney his card as he leaves the station. Gail and Cotton get questioned as they leave. Gail tells Dewey she feels bad, and Dewey questions it, whether how she feels. Brian, do you want to go first on those two scenes, man?
Yeah, sure. So this is where I ruined it earlier too, and talked about Tori Spelling. They kind of show her in the first Stab movie too. But hey, Luke freaking Wilson is in that too, doing his best Keanu Reeves impression. But hey, the cast, like Dustin said, the cast is killer.
Oh my God. We know who has kids on this show, pal. Anyway.
So you get the Randy sequel, the rules, classic. I really miss that guy honestly in 4. But I don't know if the shtick maybe it has run its course after he's kind of shoehorned into 3. I don't know, but I love him in all these movies. So I just have to say that, and I'll get to his death here in a second. But nearly one of my nitpicks here, nearly an hour into this film, and 3 people have died. So, I mean, I know it's definitely more of a, mystery and more of a whodunit type movie, more worried about the killer identity rather than catching the dude. But, I mean, I guess they go hand in hand, but it's just a bit of a complaint that it drags a little bit. The scene with Sydney and the drama teacher, David Warner, to me is great because Warner is great in almost all my favorite childhood movies that I can think of, like Ninja Turtles 2 and Star Trek 6 and stuff. I really like the exchange between them and the rehearsal scene and the quick camera flashes and the atmosphere of seeing her flashes with Ghostface and shit, which, by the way, this might have been in that the Cinema Sins thing I watched earlier, but how good of it's very true. Like, what kind of dumbass idea is it to have somebody in Max fake killing Sidney Prescott on the
Right.
on the thing. Shout out to Cinema Sins for that one though. When Randy goes, "Fuck you," I love from there forward with him. His whole rant, I hate the bullshit off-screen kill. To me, he deserved better than that. And that's spoiler alert, my worst kill in this whole entire movie. Cotton Weary, he's an idiot. Look, first, I mean, I thought the way that he called her Sid and was friendly was kind of weird and not really earned to me, being that they, established they haven't really seen each other since the first one or whatever. But I mean, I did enjoy him showing his dark side and losing his temper when she turned him down. And I know it would have been a little bit obvious, but to me, he would have been way better killer than who was revealed at the end of this. Like, I think that he's terrible in 3. Just let him be the killer and die in this one and have his day. I like Gail's character arc in this. To me, she's got the best role in this movie. And I love Neve Campbell, but to me, Courtney Cox is on point in this movie. The arc is more than just like being bitch to likable. She's honestly like the most useful damn person in this movie because she does the most of the police work of anybody in this movie.
Oh.
And I mean, I like her in there. And the next scene with her and the not to jump ahead, but with the soundproof room and stuff, I think is really cool too.
Go ahead, Dustin.
Mike, don't you? Oh, me. Dewey doesn't even work for this. Dewey doesn't even work for this police department. So
why the hell is he in Ohio then? Please tell me.
To watch out for Sid.
Oh, golly, pal.
So anyway.
Yeah, golly, Andy. That's his role, buddy. Barney Fife. Anyway.
These scenes I enjoyed a lot. I like when Randy and Dewey were sitting down talking, trying to hash things out, and like, well, by rules, then he's a suspect. And then I laugh every time when Dewey's like, well, really, you're a suspect. And Randy's like, well, if I'm a suspect, then you're a suspect. And they just like, oh, okay, never mind. And they well, okay, let's just sweep this under the rug. Neither one of us did it. And so that's funny to me. The detectives that are guarding her absolutely sucked ass.
Ugh.
How do you let Cotton just snatch her up in the library like that? she gets this DM saying that she's going to die. And then the guy who they really should be suspicious of more than anyone, probably, other than her boyfriend, that's like you said, because the trend, but maybe the guy that she put in jail for a while, yeah, he's probably got a good motive. But we're just going to let him grab her in the library and have a long discussion with her without anyone noticing she's even gone. I hated that shit. Going to Randy's death, I thought that was a really well done scene. You know, he takes the phone and he's talking, and they're just trying to figure out who's got the cell phone because they can obviously see him. They're running around, which leaves him very vulnerable. I thought that was well done. And here's a little thing though that I picked up when I was watching that. It might have been that CinemaSins video too, but when Randy's killed, the killer says that you won't get the girl. And earlier in the film, and when they're in film class, Randy says there's nothing he can change. The geek gets the girl. And so that might have been a little spoiler. This is someone that I know. This is someone that was in that room with me when I said that. But that's something I didn't pick up on my own. So I'm not going to act like I would be able to, catch that if he was saying it to me. But that's just a little nod to the audience, I think, if you caught it. But overall, I agree. I thought that I thought Randy deserved more of a fulfilling death. I think that he was such an integral part of the first two films that he deserved to have his brutal death scene that would live on forever. Instead, the van starts to looking like you picked up a hooker in Grand Theft Auto. The van's just shaking. There's some ruffians walking by with a loud ass boombox, and it's just he deserved better than that. I do agree too, though. Like, what the hell is this theater teacher doing, putting Sydney in this play where she's getting stabbed by people in masks? Like, fuck, have you no sensitivity? Like, the girl's obviously got PTSD, and you're just gonna throw her right back into the shit. But that's the same guy that let the ooze get stolen from the Ninja Turtles. So I wouldn't put that
guy,
dumbass. But that's all I got on those scenes.
Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, just 2 months after this, he's the fucking biggest asshole ever on a sinking ship. So yeah, that lets you know his fucking roles, his range. Anyway, okay, so I like the interaction with Dewey and Randy. First of all, I love the character of Randy, so that's a dead giveaway. He's me, and I've said that in the first one, so I'll say it again here. He's me when it comes to the horror films. Like, this is the way it is. This is the construct of horror, and this is how a sequel has to be. And I like that Dewey gives zero fucks, but I do like their interaction there. I hate the Dewey, or not the Dewey. I hate the Randy death, and not so much that Randy died, because I will give the Scream franchise credit for killing someone that matters. At least there's stakes involved in these movies now. Like, there's something on the line here. And so I do like that, but I don't like the death. I think the death is meh. I do like that the cameraman's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm out. It leaves. Like, that's really fucking hilarious. He's like, I am not with this shit. And I can appreciate that. But I'm not a fan of that death. He deserved a better, cooler, much just a cooler death. But you're right, Dustin. And I watched that CinemaSins probably 3 or 4 years ago. And I remember seeing that, but forgot that was a thing until I rewatched it today. And I'm like, man, I think that is perfect foreshadowing that no one catches unless they're really watching it to catch stuff like CinemaSins does.
Right.
And so I think that's a really cool note. I hate this play stuff. I'm alone in it, I guess. But I'm not a fan, partially because I feel like this movie's running a little long already to me. And so I know it's kind of like it kind of sets up the ending that we get, but I don't like the ending, so I don't like these scenes here. So they kind of tie in together to me. Again, I'm not a fan of Cotton Weary in this movie. It's not that I don't like Liev Schreiber or anything, but I don't know. He doesn't do anything for me as a character. I would have made him the other killer, though. I do agree with you, Brian. I think he would have made the perfect killer. It almost makes too much sense. It's too obvious. But I think that should have went obvious, though. I would have made it Cotton Weary, and I would have made it the boyfriend, because no one sees everyone's trying to like, all right, what are you going to do funny this time? Nope. These are the two most logical, well, not the most logical, but the two, ones that are dead giveaways. I would have went ahead and did that. And that's pretty much all I have. But I like the interaction between Sydney and her professor, but I just think the scenes are kind of, I don't know. I would have cut them for time, or at least shortened them, made it a little shorter, because we're running long here.
Go ahead, Drew.
So my thing is like right off the bat, I was like, what on earth is this whole play scene? Confused, so confused. It was like talk about PTSD for Sydney. I said, but why? It's to show how fucked up she is that the killings are back. So she's all in there, and then it flashes to the screen, and then she's like, freaked out. It was just a tad too long. I think you could have played into this scene, and it would have worked a little bit better if you would have shortened it. It just seemed like it was a very elongated segue scene to where she was kind of freaked out. But I will say, Sydney's smoky eyes, wingtip lashes in this scene with her boy is on point. Hubba Bubba in my settled voice. And but another one of mine was just like how Randy Face said Scareface, whatever his name is, told Randy, he's like, you'll never be the leading man.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck you. I love that. I love it. He's like, fuck you, man. You don't know me.
By the way, how they keep getting the same Ghostface voice? I'm just saying. Take care.
It's a.
I know, but how do they know that? And how do the people from Stab know that, by the way?
Yeah, no, that's what I didn't nitpick that in the opening scene, but
I will nitpick that. How do the Stab producers know that that's the fucking Ghostface voice, huh? Okay.
And know the details of what happened on that. Come on.
That's played for laughs. Like I think that's done on purpose. But
yeah,
anyway.
I did too.
So,
by the way, why has it got to be Mike voice? Why can't it be anybody else on this podcast?
Hello, Lady Mike.
Yeah. Because you have that sensual voice.
That's sensual. Hello, Sydney.
Yeah, hello, Sydney. Is right. Anyway.
I was a bit frustrated about the whole blood dripping through the door of the van so quickly. I was like, that's not gonna happen. But other than that, and then this is the last point I have. I'm like, so she gets an IM at the computer that says you're gonna die tonight. So the first instincts of these FBI agents or whatever is like, here, let's take her to the corner over here where we're not at while we go search these other people. And old boy runs up on her. Hey, Sydney, we got $10K for what was the
Diane Sawyer.
Diane Sawyer. We got $10K each for Diane Sawyer. 1 hour special. It's just us. Dude just rolls up on her and they're like, oh, hold on a second. Oh, let's check everybody else out. Like, that annoyed me. Did not like that at all.
But I did like how he went full Biff Tannen on her. Hello, McFly. Hello.
Yeah. Oh, Nico doesn't get that reference. Never mind.
Oh. I have no idea.
Oh.
All right, Gail and Dewey, they break into the School of Film. They pop in some videos. Gail and Dewey, they start making out. It looks like it's about to go down. But then another tape starts playing on a TV above the screen that they were watching. It shows, the scene where Randy, is basically just watching Randy walk around that yard before he gets killed. They see Ghostface up top, like where the projector would be. Then Ghostface comes out of nowhere and chases Gale. I wrote cat and mouse between Ghostface and Gale because it's kind of some good cinematography, where Gale is hiding, by a hallway, and then, Ghostface pops up. I kind of like that. Dewey gets to her, but gets attacked and stabbed by Ghostface because she's in a soundproof room. He runs after Gale, but she blocks the door off so he can't get in. He tries to break the glass but can't, so he just runs off and leaves. The police are escorting Sydney away. The Greek brothers snatch Derek up. We're at another party now with Derek. They got him tied up on one of the play props. Ghostface attacks the two officers escorting Sydney and Haley because they're just parked at this red light where there's nobody else. Just fucking put your lights on and drive through it, you dumb son of a bitch. He kills the driver. He kills the main driver with the throat slash. And then Ghostface, he hijacks the car with the other cop on the hood of it. The car crashes, and spoiler alert, you know where this is going. The cop's killed because he gets impaled through the back of the head when the car crashes. Ghostface is knocked out in the front seat. The two ladies sneak out of the car crawling. They have to pull like the little, the fence or whatever that's blocking off the front and back seat. They crawl over Ghostface and take off running. And I wrote with this. I tweeted the other day, even great final girls have bad moments. And this is me. It's like, Sydney, come on. For some reason, they don't kill him right then. They run off, but then Sydney finally decides to see who it is. She goes back to where the car is crashed at. She sees Ghostface is gone. Ghostface pops up behind Haley and stabs her in the chest. And Sydney runs away. Gail runs into Cotton Weary with blood on his hands. She runs outside looking for help. She calls the cops and says it's Cotton Weary. And I'm going to save this next scene because it's the finale. Drew, you want to go ahead and go first on that?
Yeah, I have very simple notes on this one here. So with Dewey, dopey fucking Dewey. When they hit each other's heads, and then it was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
That was cute.
Like, I hate that. So cheesy. So cheesy.
Oh, that's cute.
But I understand why.
Come
I
on,
understand
pal.
why. I understand why now because, being with you guys and understanding how your love for like the meta part of it and the tropes of everything going into it, I can see why everybody gets into it, which is one of the reasons why I never really got into it earlier is because I didn't really understand those tropes and what they were trying to, come across throughout the movie.
All right, Dustin, go ahead and defend Deputy Dewey getting killed.
I mean, Dewey's a lot like me in this situation. I understand my life's at risk, but if we can bust one out real quick, let's get it in.
Oh my god. Well, we're gonna get canceled after this. Thanks for the 25K.
But really though, I mean, you couldn't pick a more appropriate time to have some sex than while you're trying to review. And also, why you take the videos to the theater, the school's theater to review? Like, take that shit to the police station. But anyway, scene though.
Dewey knew what he was doing. You got to give him some credit. He knew.
Oh yeah, he did. Let's go to this room that's got a nice open table and some dim lights, baby. But why in the hell could she hear Dewey banging on the glass, but he couldn't hear her? That was weird to me. Maybe I guess a sound studio, but that part really bothered me because she's trying to bang on the glass and tell him Dewey, Dewey, Dewey. Yet when he's falling up against the glass, we heard everything. Yeah. Ghostface, this is the very next line in my notes. Ghostface can't drive for dick. Now here's the thing: when he's hijacking the car and he's got the cops on him, he can't drive for shit. He's swerving everywhere. He's bumping into everything. And so to me, this says, is it the mask? Like, can he not see because of the mask? So if that's the case, then why the fuck were all those people wearing masks in the movie theater in the beginning of the film?
I forgot to mention that, but I didn't want to overkill. But yes, don't wear a fucking mask to a movie anyway.
Yeah. So if you can see through those masks perfectly fine, then he has no excuse for driving like he just sat on a mousetrap. The scene where Officer Richards is impaled by the pole was incredible.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Because not just the kill itself, like it's a creative kill, and he's Ghostface technically didn't kill him, like he was a victim of a automobile accident. But the creativity, the way the pole went through his head, and then the different camera angles we got, I thought that scene was really well shot. They show his hand holding the gun, and it's kind of like twitching, which puts some realism to it. They show the pole from the inside of the car coming through his head. I can't stress enough how much I enjoy the way that film that shot was filmed. That's what I got on those scenes.
Go ahead, Brian.
I actually like the whole soundproof room scene. And, I mean, and watching Dewey bite it, I mean, not because I didn't like its character. I mean, because honestly, I have in my notes that I kind of wish it would have held up just because it would have made the movie more like, oh, shit, okay, we really are killing some main characters off. But I really would have honestly missed him in part 4 because I really think so. I'm glad that it didn't hold up, honestly. Yeah. So worst detectives of all time, definitely would have shot this dude instantly. But all right. So this is where I have the fix for the scene. All right. So to me, they should have just shown right there that there's 2 killers and had them both surprise both sides of the car, kill them both instantly. So they didn't have almost any chance. To me, it would have been, it should have been in a red light that wasn't so damn open spaces either. So, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous to believe anyone surprised them, anyone in that car, because you could have seen them coming from a mile away. There was no, to me, any hiding spots around there. So I think that they definitely could have done that scene a lot better. But like Dustin said, great death scene, crashing into construction through with the pole through his head. The whole scene, that like from the car to there, kind of makes me shake my head. But that is such a great death scene; it almost makes me forget about the cheesiness of the scene that I just watched. Spoiler alert: that's my favorite kill in the movie too. Scenes like where they're crawling over the killer in any movie, honestly, those scenes drive me crazy. I mean, it happens in tons of horror movies, Friday, Halloween. It just, to me, I've never been a fan of them. It doesn't do the tension thing for me. It's just irritating. And lastly, Cotton not being the killer after showing up in the building with blood on his hands and everything is actually ridiculous, which I've got a little tidbit like of behind the scenes why I think that they chose the killers that they did, but and I guess he could have honestly been the killer. If it goes, I'll get to it at the end with the ending, but to me that's ridiculous. He should have been the pick.
All right, so I actually really love both of these scenes. Like, I'm a huge fan of the hallway stuff. I'm a huge fan of the soundproof room. I think it's shot really well. This is why I like them. I think they're both directed really well from a direction standpoint by Wes Craven. I think the choices he makes is really, I love them in both scenes. I love the cinematography. I actually really like the soundproof death of Dewey, or not real death, which is a nitpick I have. Not because I wouldn't have missed him in 4, because you do make a good point. Like, he's so critical in Scream 4 that would have sucked to not have him there. But just if the franchise ended here and you just had these two movies, not killing off Dewey and having that fake out would have really sucked, man. Like, that just kill him. Like, this is an important death. Like, holy shit, they killed off Randy and fucking Dewey. Like, this is some real shit. But that's a nitpick. I love the chase scene with Ghostface and Gale. I think it's really good, well shot, well made, big fan, all that stuff. Again, I agree with you on you can hear one thing but you can't hear another. Like, that's not great. But I still enjoy it overall. And here's my thing about the car scene. You're right. Ghostface can't drive for dick, but I think it is because of the mask. But I honestly think the death of the driver, fucking phenomenal. Love that. That's a great death. I don't mind how they get out of the car, because I think it's actually really smart by Sidney to notice that and tear it open and get out. However, I don't like that they don't kill Ghostface. Just kill Ghostface while he's fucking incapacitated.
Yeah.
So
or at least unmask him. Yeah.
There's some give and take there. I like how they get out of the car, but after you get out of the car, kill and unmask Ghostface. That's not that hard. We can really, what I would have done different, not necessarily exactly what Brian did, but what I would have done different is that, unlike the first one where you wait to the end to reveal both killers, reveal one killer right there. Oh shit, that's Billy's mom. That's what I would have done, because at least, or you could have made it Mickey, I guess, because he's fucking so insignificant. So you think, you're not sure at that point, is there only one killer? You're like, wow, maybe we finally, we've stopped this. Good, we killed a Ghostface without anything else happening. Of course, they can't do that because they have to have this great ending scene, let me tell you, pal. Anyway, that was a joke. So I like how they get out of the car. It doesn't bother me. I just hate that they don't go. I hate that they don't go back and kill him. What is wrong with you people? Oh God. Anyway, but I think both scenes are shot really well from a direction standpoint, cinematography, all that stuff. I think there is suspense. Again, just some dumb decisions, which Sidney usually doesn't make. So that really pissed me off.
All right, boys, here's the finale. Sydney goes into the theater room. The stage light shines on her, and the props start to come down. The prop with Derek's body descends. Ghostface comes on the stage. He reveals it's Mickey. He says he has a partner. Derek pleads. And I'm going to let y'all, get into all the dialogue that Mickey's and all that says. Derek pleads for his life. Mickey shoots him in the chest and kills him. Mickey gives a spiel about it being all about the trial. She says, what you're forgetting about Billy is I killed him. That's what Sydney tells him.
Oh,
She hits him with the Greek letters. The Derek prop ascends. Mickey reveals his partner. It's teased that it's Gail, but it's the news reporter, a.k.a. Miss Loomis. She funded Mickey's escapades. She shoots Mickey 3 times, and he shoots Gail in the rib cage stomach area as he falls down. She tells Sydney her plan to frame it on her. Sydney hits her with some glass. She grabs an axe and starts cutting the ropes to the props and flipping switches. Miss Loomis charges her with a knife. They wrestle some. She gets on top of her and almost stabs Sydney. Then Cotton comes in with a gun and stops it. Miss Loomis has a knife to Sydney's throat. Sydney agrees to the Diane Sawyer interview, and he shoots Miss Loomis in the head. Cotton says he'd never hurt her. Sydney gets the gun. Gail is still alive and scares Sydney. Sydney and Gail shoots Mickey as he jumps up. Then Sydney shoots Miss Loomis one more time. The police show up. They bring Dewey out on a stretcher because, of course, he's alive somehow.
Damn
Gail rides the ambulance with him. Sydney sends all the reporters to Cotton because he wants all the fame. He wants the interviews, and the film ends as Sydney walks away. That's the finale. We'll let Mike go last since this was his pick. Dustin, do you want to go first, man?
Yeah, I can go first. The finale was intense. It wasn't as enjoyable as the finale in the first one because I don't know. It's hard to follow that up. The swerve at the end of the first one to me, even though if you go back and watch it, it's obvious. But the first time seeing it, it's like what the hell. That being said, when Derek gets shot in the chest, that bitch put her hand over it like that was gonna fix it. She needed some Flex Seal tape to stop all that bleeding. It was, come on, don't just put your hand over the hole and say that's gonna save him. But yeah, it's also highly unbelievable that no one recognized Billy's mom until right then. Like, what are you doing? This woman's been walking around campus all movie, and she said that she lost some weight and had a makeover or whatever, but still, you never forget eyes that are that crazy. It was very topical at the time because during this time, a lot of things were happening in the country and being blamed on music and film. And so for Mickey to say that he's going to get his trial, he's going to become famous and all this, that was actually topical. It was a good little nod to what's going on in society. I don't have a problem with the ending. I don't think it was as good, but it was good, especially since my man Dewey survived again. That motherfucker is tough. But also, why do you only have one shoe on? Like, they're wheeling him out on the stretcher, and he is barefoot on one foot, and he's got a shoe on the other. Like, we're talking no shoe, no sock, and then he's got a shoe on the other foot.
I thought I was the only one that saw that.
No,
I mean, you don't remember? He was trying to get it on with Courtney
Yeah.
Cox. I mean, he was already out halfway.
so that's what he takes off is a sock and a shoe.
Yeah.
Had to handle business, bro.
What kind of sick fetish is he in? But
Hey, pal.
You gotta take your shoes and socks off first, man.
yeah, but if he only accomplished one shoe and one sock, he did a piss poor job. But no, other than that, I thought it was a fine ending. I like Sydney. For number one, she probably didn't want the spotlight. She didn't want to be all these reporters in her mouth, and she knew that Cotton wanted his 15 minutes. So great job to her. Just be like, here, Cotton, here's your bone I'm throwing. You take this and leave me alone. But also, thank you for taking this pressure off me. And so I thought it was a really well done ending. And then the way the camera just kind of pans out as she's walking across campus, just with this bamboozled look on her face, is believable because she was shocked. She'd been traumatized, and then I thought the camera angle take it off, it further stressed that, and how she just wanted to be isolated in that moment. And so I enjoyed the ending.
Go ahead, Drew.
Oh, yeah.
I'll wrap this up for me in 4 short sentences because I noticed when I was going through my notes and I went back through them, I was like, holy crap. I didn't say a lot of great things about this movie because I wanted to nitpick and I felt kind of bad about it. But I'll say
I actually don't like this ending at all, to be honest here. So, but there's a reason I think because Williamson's original Scream 2 screenplay draft was actually leaked online during production. So it revealed the film's ending and caused the studio to quickly order rewrites. And so it was honestly being written on the fly. And
Mm-hmm.
to keep the same problem from happening all over again, there was so much secrecy with this movie and so many leaks with the first one even that like apparently like and you can tell now if you go back and look at it, but Williamson wrote this movie so literally anyone could be plugged in as the killer there or the killers right at the end.
Right.
So I think maybe that we got these two generic killers to be the reveal is probably hopefully is something because of some reason like that. I really I don't like the reveal of these two. That I don't hate the ending of the movie. I just don't like the reveal. Let me just say that. So, I mean, one of the things I love about the first one is that you can rewatch Scream 1. You can see all the little nuances between Stu and Billy, that give away that they're the killers during the movie if you've already known it. So instead, like, you get this whole reverse Miss Voorhees thing. And it's nothing against Laurie Metcalf because she plays it great.
Yeah, she does.
I just don't like the choice here. Go ahead, Dustin.
I just wanted to clarify because you brought up a good point. When I say I didn't mind the ending, I thought it was well done. I mean, it was well done for what it was. I
Yeah,
agree
no,
with you, though.
yeah.
I don't like the reveal. I don't like who it ended up being. And I wish they would have gone with the original plan. But yeah, for what it was, I thought it was well done, and they did it as well as they could.
Yeah. And look, Nev Campbell is amazing in this. She ends the first one as a badass, and it carries into this movie. She trusts no one the whole movie, yet she's conflicted about it. And Nev she plays it so well, honestly. And I know we've harped on it the whole podcast, but she's a great actress in this entire series, and especially in this movie because she carries this movie. I love Courtney Cox's character, and I love her character arc, and I think she's the best written character in this movie. But Nev, as an actress, carries this film to me. And I'll shout out. The last thing I have to say about this is the Zombieland double tap and Loomis's head at the end. Boss ass movie by Nev Campbell.
Yes.
I loved it.
All right, Mike, close us out.
Okay, so I'm kind of split down the middle because I do like certain aspects of this closing scene, but I really hate the reveal. And I get it's not so much that I mind the intentions of the killers, because at that time that was very topical to blame the movies and get kind of famous off of that, and that was his intentions, and OJE with the getting off and using Cochran and all that stuff. I thought that was fine. Billy Loomis's mom, Justin made the best point when he said she's been running around this whole fucking time and nobody noticed that she was Loomis's mom. Get the fuck out of here. That's bullshit. So change her last name to Salt, which is dumb. Anyway, but so I'm not a big fan of the reveal of the killers, but I like pretty much everything else. Nev Campbell is great. Gail's good when she enters the scene. I think that Laurie Metcalf does a great job revealing herself as a killer. The acting is really good. This is a young Timothy Olyphant, so there's a couple things I'm like, you're a little hokey here, pal. But he gets a lot better, so it's okay. I'll excuse it away. But pretty much what you all said, which is this is okay for what it is, but it's really hard to top that first Scream reveal, man. It is so good, and I love Scream 4's reveal. So I'm always comparing the two because that's where I go. Which one's my second favorite Scream? And I go to which one does the open better, which one does the closing better, and I think Scream 4 does the reveal better. Now, Scream 2 is just like every other Scream movie, and it's a nitpick I have the entire franchise. Hurry the fuck up. Hurry the fuck up. Your closing scenes are drug out way too damn long. All four movies. Now, Scream, I forgive it in the first one because I just love that movie so much. But in 4, I love that Emma Roberts even referenced it. She says, okay, we're getting a little ridiculous now. That's a great point. Like, they acknowledge we drag out our ending. Scream 3 is just over the top. Way too fucking long. So, they drag it out. I would have cut some of this crap out. Just okay, these are our killers. You're not going to make it. The Cotton Weary stuff, which is fine. I would have made him the killer. Here's supposedly according to shortlist.com, this is what they said the original killers were supposed to be, according to Kevin Williamson. It was supposed to be Hallie or Haley, whatever, and Derek, the boyfriend, and they were having an affair behind Sydney's back, and that was going to be. I don't know if I would have liked that a whole lot more, but I would have liked it better than this. So, but because it leaked online, they had to change a bunch of shit up. So I guess I'll give them a pass. But the acting is good here. I just don't like the reveal. It's kind of a flat ending, but whatever. I still enjoy this movie overall for what it's worth. I just felt there is a point where you feel the 2 hours you feel the 2 hour runtime a lot.
All right, has anybody got any final thoughts before we jump into fun facts?
No, sir.
Nope.
Good.
I'll just go first. I only have two of them. One scene in Kevin Williamson's screenplay was described simply as, in quotes, Wes Craven will make it scary. And this one, Dustin's already said, Matthew Lillard, co-star of Scream, is in the background at the frat party. It's about at the 35-minute mark. Go ahead, Dustin, with your fun facts.
All right, so Kevin Williamson got the idea for the film while he was writing the script for the first film, and it was actually greenlit, I believe, before they were even finished filming the first one. Like Mike said, the original the original script got leaked, and it was rewritten several times. There's a nod to this in Scream 3, so that's why all the actors and actresses kept having, like, they didn't even know what the real finish was to the movie. And it's because in Scream 2, the actual actors didn't receive the last 10 pages of the script until they were filming those scenes. That's how much they were trying to keep this under wraps, because they had the leaks. There's 34 different films that are mentioned or referenced in this film. So, Meta World Peace.
That's a basketball player.
The Omega Beta Zeta house, fun fact, is the exact same house that was Miss Trunchell's in the film Matilda. So her big-ass mansion was the sorority house. And then the last thing that I've got is not really a fun fact, but it's just something I noticed when I was watching the film, more so than any film that I can really think of. There's a finite number of actors and actresses, so you're obviously going to have some overlap in films that they do. But this one had a lot. Yeah. So Elise Neal and David Werner, who was the theater teacher, and her best friend Haley, they were both in Money Talks. You've got the Arquette dynamic with Courtney and David, and David's dad being in the movie. There's the reference in the film where Gail says that the nude wasn't her, only the head was her, the lower half was Jennifer Aniston. You know, they were both on Friends, and they're real life best friends. So that was cool. And then also Omar Epps and Jamie Kennedy were actually in a film together in 2019 called Trick. It's another horror film. I think it was pretty low budget, but I just thought that was interesting how there's even more if you go deeper into it, but there's a lot of overlap in actor dynamics in this film.
Mike, you got any fun facts, brother?
Yeah. Going back to some of our older episodes, I'm going to talk about the money here. This had a $24 million budget, which is a huge leap from the first Scream. Yes. A much bigger budget. It made $172.4 million total worldwide. Nice. That's a pretty nice box office. Opening weekend was $33 million, which was the highest opening December box office to date until What Women Want beat it in 2000. Jesus Christ, moviegoers, what the fuck, man? Mel Gibson? Anyway, whatever. So they took bets on who the killers would be within the cast, and David Arquette actually won the pot. He won the bet between all the actors because they didn't know until they got those final 10 pages. So, it could have literally been anybody. Let's see. There's Kevin Williamson wanted to originally call it the sequel to Scream. Like, that was going to be the name of the movie, which is meta on top of meta on top of meta. That's some good meta shit, but ultimately it was decided to be Scream 2, which I kind of agree with. That was probably the right call there. I talked about the killers and who they were supposed to be. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh, you mentioned the violent cut, so yep, that's all I got.
All righty, moment of truth. Who wants to go first? And favorite kill, least favorite kill, and the rating.
I'll go first.
Ain't no problem.
Ain't no problem.
All right, go ahead.
So I'm gonna frame this because
Here we go.
Everybody knows I am not a big Scream fan, but it's
Rated
fine.
the last one a 9.
Exactly. But see, I can respect a good movie
Right.
overall. Am I
So
not
can I.
right?
So can I.
So I put in here. I was like, overall, the music was great. Great acting across from different parts of it, which kept you into it all the way. Sid, fucking phenomenal during this whole movie. I can't deny that it's a total movie experience, as good as one to watch if it's on TV on a boring day. You heard that last part, right?
Oh, jeez.
Boring day. Boring day. Anyways, uh, my favorite kill was Cece. The double stab, pop, pop, and then
Kill.
threw over the edge. I loved it because I was like, oh, am I going to get a window kill? Because you guys know I hate window kills. They're my worst one. Least favorite is, come on, it had to be all the off-screen kills. I'm not a fan of these off kill. But in a close second, it had to be the multiple shot to the chest of Loomis's partner on the cross.
Yep.
The death or whatever. I did not like that one. My ranking for this movie is a 7.0.
Oh, that's good. Solid follow-up.
Who wants to go next?
Okay, I'll go next. That's fine.
Okay.
My favorite kill is the car driver. I fucking love a kill. It's brutal. I love how it happens. I love the way they shoot it. I love everything about that kill. Close second would have been Cece, though. I really do like that kill. I think it's good. Again, it's kind of hard in this franchise because, stab to the gut, stab to the back, stab to the ass, whatever it is. There's just a lot of stab, baby. Stab. My least favorite kill is Derek because it's a one pump, boom, done. So that's kind of boring and tame. So it's realistic, I guess, but I almost went Omar Epps at the beginning, but it was a toss up there. Honestly, Scary Movie saves that scene from being the worst because that's what I think of when I see that scene. Damn it, you Wayne's brothers. I give this movie an 8. I think it's really enjoyable. It's entertaining. A lot of like what Drew said, where I don't ever lose my interest in this movie. I feel the runtime a little bit, but I don't ever lose my ability to pay attention like I do in Scream 3, where I just like, okay, come on, let's go. But at least in this one, I feel the acting is really good for the most part. There's a star-studded cast, like just 90s out the ass in this movie, and I really enjoy that. So, and again, I'm just a big Neve Campbell fan, and so it almost bumps it up quite a bit for me because she just carries this movie so well. So I give it an 8. It's a good watch. It's not my favorite Scream, like it was at one point. It's not my second favorite Scream either anymore. So, yeah.
All right, I'll go next. Favorite kill. I'm agreeing. Something's going on because I'm agreeing with Mike a lot recently. And I'm kind of starting to get scared. Favorite kill.
This is hard times, brother.
Well, we didn't agree at all on Halloween Resurrection, but anywho, favorite kill was the cop getting his head impaled with the pipe, and I will agree with you. Real close second was CC. I love that kill too, just because these movies are so tame. I like the brutality in some of them.
Right.
Least favorite kill was Derek getting shot in the chest on the prop. All right, rating. All right, 6.5, and just hear me out for y'all hate on me. I wrote no.
What? Nico rated it lower than me? What the fuck is going on?
I'm not surprised.
No, I wrote this down. No offense to Brother Brian and Brother Mike. This just isn't my favorite thing. Ghostface just isn't a super cool slasher. I know these films are for Sydney and about Sydney mostly, but I like my slashers to be about the slasher. The meta just is a little too much to me. I mean, you get right off at the beginning of the movie, you're just hit right in the face with a bunch of metas. Jesus
Slap
Christ.
me in the face with it, baby. Oh, sorry.
It's got a decent, the decent opening scene. Like I said in the beginning, it's decent, but the first one was just so damn good. It lived, like we did in our Saw rankings. Saw 2 took on the original Saw and held its ground. This one, I don't think it was, it wasn't anywhere near as good as the first opening scene. I wrote Randy's great. And I think just because I love Malibu's Most Wanted, I love Jamie Kennedy. This movie is definitely worth a watch. I mean, it's not. I don't hate this movie, but the meta stuff just is a little too much, and the movie's a little too long to me.
It's a little long.
But But no offense to Brother Brian and Mike. I know they
That's
love
okay.
this stuff, but
No, that's okay.
the meta is just a little too much for me, and I like my slashers to be about the slashers, not it's fucking Mickey and the mom. You know, that's
Right.
just, I was
Right.
let down with that. All right, Dustin and Brian, who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So first of all, I want to start by saying that since I was not on the original Scream, I'm gonna give a two-parter here.
Okay.
So since I wasn't on that episode, I'm gonna run through it real quick. My favorite kill in that film was Stu, with because the getting electrocuted with the TV is kind
Thank you.
it's like
Drew loves that one.
well, it's a nod to Wes Craven and
Yes.
Primetime bitch, like
Thank you.
Nightmare on Elm Street 3. I like that little subtle nod there.
Ooh.
Least favorite kill in that one was Tatum with the garage door.
Yeah, dog shit kill. Fucking
That
awful.
one makes my head hurt. And then my rating for the original Scream is 7.5. Favorable.
The original.
What?
Favorable.
Oh,
score.
okay, goddamn.
7.5?
That's,
Was it original?
that's respectable. That's respectable.
I'm a tough. You'll come to realize I'm kind of
I
tough
mean,
on
I
my
thought
score.
I was tough, but Jesus Christ, a 7.5 for at least an 8 or above? Oh.
7.5. So that being said, now you know where my standard is for the franchise coming into this film.
This shit's gonna be like a 5.
My favorite kill. My favorite kill was Officer Richards for all the things that we've already said, being impaled by the pole. My least favorite kill was Maureen, Jada Pinkett Smith.
Right.
That fucking movie theater scene irritated me so much, and it's such dog shit that he was able to stab her 59 times and go out unscathed. So there's my kills. Now my rating for this film, I go 6.65.
Okay.
I was gonna give it a flat 6, but I gave it the Arquette bump, so it got the 6.5.
Oh God. I can't believe somebody actually has that.
There is a new low man in town.
I'm okay with being a tough critic because I'm probably not tough enough, so that's fine.
So let me ask you this question, Mike, since you picked this movie, right? So like I've noticed like some of these movies that I really love, and then we go and review these together, and I find out that I really don't love them nearly as much as I thought I did. Does that happen with you when we're reviewing these?
The only one that really probably did that to me was Rob Zombie's Halloween, but I kind of knew that going in. Like there was a point in time where I loved that movie, but that continues to slide. Like the first half of that movie just makes it go further and further down. This one, no, this one already slid before this rewatch. Like it was.
I mean, would you have ranked it the same originally when you first watched it?
No, I would have had it above
now?
Scream
Does
1.
it change that much?
No, I would have had it above Scream 1 if you asked me 8-10 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
But
okay. Well, I
over
mean,
time-
I just noticed with myself, like when we review these movies that I'm into, like I rewatch them and I kind of hate y'all because y'all kind of ruin it for me because I judge it totally different.
Well, also Nico, I stayed very on brand for me. You know, the original is always better than the sequel, right? You're giving me shit for that, so.
That's true.
Not in the Friday the 13th franchise, anyway.
Yes, it is.
No. Go ahead.
All right, Brian.
All right,
Hathaway.
let me go. So my favorite kill is the cop with the pole, same thing. But my least favorite kill, I already said, was Randy, just because I felt like he deserved a better death than what I got on screen. I think I rated the original Scream, I think at 9.5, somewhere around there, I think. But unlike Nico, I love my meta slapped all over my face.
Me too.
Slap it around. on there.
Just hit me right in the fucking face. Just slapped all over his face.
As much as possible. So I'm gonna give this one. an 8.75.
Shake my face in it.
I'm gonna give this one 8.75. I mean, it's not quite as good as the first one, and honestly, I liked it a lot better 10 years ago. I'm in the same boat as Mike. Honestly, I had seen Scream 1 so many times that I liked the feeling I got when I watched this so much. It was my favorite one for a long time.
All right. Does anybody have any final thoughts? Because I got a question I want to ask Brian at the end of this.
Yeah, Scream 4 is a better sequel than Scream 2. Okay, anyway.
Yep.
Agreed.
All right. So we just did a Final Girls, Final Guys rankings episode a couple weeks ago, and Brian said Kevin Williamson in the next Scream movie makes Sidney the killer. And I want to know why Brian wants Sydney to be the killer, because these movies seem to me to circle around Sydney defeating the killer. I want to know why he wants Sydney to be the killer now. Go ahead and
Oh, I'm
convince me.
down with that one. I'm down with that one.
All
Do you
right,
want to
so
see her die? Do you want to see her die? Or do you want to just her to slay everybody?
I don't
Go
think,
ahead, tell me.
I'm going to say it in this, I think, but I don't think that Scream movies can go on without Nev Campbell in them. Like that's just me. Because like you said, they center around them, but sit back here, go on a trip with me for a second, because I'm going to convince somebody that's, some of our listeners here, I'm going to win
I'm
some
with
of you
you,
over
so-
that I think that Sydney could be I mean, because like, look, the core of this franchise is different than any of the other slashers. Nico hates it for this reason, but it's not the killer. It's the core three. It's Dewey. It's Gale. It's Sydney. After the first one, we don't give a shit, honestly, about the killer reveals in any of them. They're all throwaway characters that we just met that movie, which, we just tried to fix this one with like Cotton and some other ones that would have been better. But, how many times can you have a killer go after Sydney? I mean, even her own family members went after her, in part 4. It's not that far of a stretch to think that she finally snaps. You guys talked about it in this review some too, that she was, it showed that she has some PTSD. She starts going crazy a little bit. I think that it's not as far stretched to think that she would have snaps. I mean, plus, I mean, 4 felt kind of like the final hurrah for the original crew, honestly. And I think it could rejuvenate this franchise that's known for reinventing itself every single movie. It could get Courtney Cox and Dewey back involved, even trying to go after her, maybe, which adds a whole emotional part to it. Maybe having her kill people who remind her of people who have wronged her. Some motivation there. I mean, hell, the publicist in part 4 calls her a victim for life, and her cousin and her friends call her the angel of death. I mean, to me, it's the perfect next step. The whole franchise is about establishing rules and then breaking them. And other franchises have hinted. The other franchises like Halloween, they've hinted at it, but none of them ever had the guts to go through with it and always backed out. Making Tommy Jarvis the killer in Friday the 13th, stuff that they
Jamie
tried
Lloyd,
to do and never
Halloween.
did.
Yeah.
So I think that it would, and honestly, I think it would take something like that anyway to get Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox back anyway. Dewey, I'm sure, has always felt like the Screech of the franchise anyway. So I mean, I think that he'll be back for
Justin
Scream.
Diamond.
He'll be back for Scream, the new class. So that's if you're counting, that's 2 Saved by the Bell references I've had in this podcast. But anyway, that's what I think they should do. The other option, maybe she has kids and end up sacrificing herself to save her kids, but I think that's more of a safe route for sure. And I don't know if Nev Campbell would come back for something like that. So that's my pitch, Kevin Williamson, if you're listening.
So do you want her to die in this? Like,
I could
end it
think-
off with her dying?
If you're going to kill her, I don't think that you could do any more Scream
Me
movies.
too.
So
That's how I feel. If you're gonna kill her, that's it.
Yeah, I think you could keep going, I guess, with her but you've got such love as fans for her, it's gonna hurt some people. But I mean, what's a better twist than that?
Dewey.
I mean,
Dewey being
I
the
don't
killer.
think Dewey works.
Dewey
I
being
think-
the killer and not being clumsy, because that would
Well-
shock the shit out of people.
Well, I think that if Dewey was going to be the killer, he should have been in 2, because for his sister, like going crazy because his sister got killed in the first one. Like, I think if they were going to do that, I think that it's past. The ship sailed for that, to me.
Right.
It'd be kind of cool. Sydney got revealed it was her at the end of, Scream 5 and ended up killing, Gale and Dewey. Maybe all 3 of them go away somehow.
Well,
that might be kind of interesting.
I
As
would
long-
like one of them to die in this next movie. One of them needs to die in Scream 5. I don't
Well,
care
I'd
what 3.
That would be a good, end all of it though.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean-
you'd have to end it all. Yeah,
Right.
Because this
And-
franchise is so core around them for sure.
Oh, this is a totally different franchise, and I get Nico's complaint about that because Halloween, Michael Myers, -1 movie. Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees, -1 movie. Nightmare, it's all Freddy. I get that this is, Ghostface is there, and this mask made a lot of money, but this is a completely different thing where normally within slashers, you get the same killer with a different cast. In this franchise, you get the same cast with different killers. So it's taking the norm and flipping it on its head. So some people like that, and some people don't. I think Nev being the killer or Sydney being the killer would actually be the end. Like, if we're going to do that, that's it. No more Scream unless you reboot, which would everything gets rebooted eventually. So, but for this original run, that would be the end to me.
Hey Dustin, you know what how Dewey could work is if you flipped a saw if you flipped Saw on it and then had him like really involved in every killer for out all the other movies, and that's why he survived always, is because he was always in on it every single one of the movies. Hey, maybe he could slide him in there somewhere.
Also, when we do review 3 and 4, it is remarkable how Dewey went from limping and dragging his feet and looking like he had a fake arm to being perfectly healthy in the next film.
Stem cells.
Yeah. Hey, you know what's ironic? We said Scream 2 ran long, so did the Scream 2 episode. Bam! Let's get out of here.
Yeah, Mike, I didn't rate this movie, super duper high, but I enjoyed, watching it. I know what I'm getting when I watch a Scream movie.
Right.
I enjoyed it. I'm gonna go ahead and announce my pick next week. Going to throw it back to the early 2000s, a nostalgic movie for me. So I'm fully prepared. Like the Game of Thrones gift. If y'all don't like it, I really like it. We're gonna watch Jeepers Creepers. I've actually had quite a few requests for this, in Snapchat messages, text messages. I've had, when y'all gonna do Jeepers Creepers? So we're gonna do that next week. I really like this movie. I got a lot of thoughts on what the potential of this franchise could have been.
Agreed.
Go ahead, Mike.
Before you hear this and before you add us, we're just reviewing the movie. We are not getting into the director and anything else like that. We're just going to talk the movie of Jeepers Creepers. So don't come on here expecting us to get into all that stuff. We're just reviewing the movie and the art for what it is.
Exactly.
Because I know somebody out there, and I get it, but somebody out there was going to say that. Just let's clarify. We're not even going to touch it.
Nope. That's what I wanted, just get through next week. It's like this could have been the next big slasher, but
I agree.
It fucked it all up. We really appreciate the support, y'all. Go ahead, Mike. End us out.
Shout out to the Slasher app, because I've been dropping episodes there, and I know that's been helping us out a lot. And we've kind of entered on a little bit of a shared network in there with some other podcasts, just by hook, by happenstance. So shout out to the Slasher app, and I believe his name is Daniel over there. He's helped promote our show as well. So shout out to Slasher app. But go ahead and get us out. Sorry.
All right. Thanks everyone for listening. We really appreciate it. Y'all have a good night. And just want to remind everybody to don't go out there.